Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom Media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Welcome to this shortened AFC Championship game edition of the Home of the Chiefs podcast, where the Chiefs are your home as they are ours. Thank you all for tuning into this late week edition of like I said, a shortened version of our show. Got some plans for the Super Bowl week, but figured it was fitting to get episodes out this first week before the Super Bowl is officially on the brain.
Yeah,
so that way the AFC Championship game is not off the brain. So we have that conversation. So decided it was best to get episode out discussing that game so that we can come back fresh and ready to talk about the Super Bowl as a whole.
So excited.
So obviously, like I said, we're going to go a little shorter. So we only got 3 topics for today. Bet on Red. The Chiefs battled the Baltimore Ravens 17-10.
They did.
Super Bowl 58. So they were not necessarily chosen to win, and we weren't necessarily believing in what both sides were going to do. So talk about how that game ended. Spags Sacks Lamar. The defense completely shut down Lamar in the Ravens rushing game. So we'll talk about kind of the work that the defense put in that game and was able to shut down and lower the score total more than anybody would have assumed it would be. And then Travis and Jerry. So the offense played well early, and they relied on Travis Kelce throughout the whole game. So now he's basically in the record books, either his name or Jerry Rice's name on top of the other. So we will kind of talk about the offense's performance this game and the legacy that Travis is leaving behind in his short 10-year career with this point. Him saying he's got many years to go.
Mm-hmm.
So before we jump into that, go ahead and like and subscribe. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Red Kingdom Media. If you're interested in some additional content, you can check back at the other short videos that myself made with the Home of the Chiefs breakdown video. And you can also check out the Ravens recap, if you want to call it, or the extra point with Daily Dale. And like I said, stay tuned, as there should be an episode of the Chiefin podcast come out before we can officially start talking Super Bowl. So we are here to talk how the Chiefs were able to win the AFC Championship game and punch their ticket to Las Vegas and take on the now San Francisco 49ers opponent in the 54 rematch.
Mm-hmm.
But all that being said, the Chiefs were able to defeat the Baltimore Ravens, do just enough offensively and defensively, put on a heck of a performance. We'll give each one of those their individual attention, but from a game perspective, going into it and coming out of it, what were your impressions and how did you feel towards the end and at the very end?
I was nervous at first. I was really nervous, and then as we started going on in the game and it got more and more on our side in our favor, I was like, oh yes, okay, let's go, let's beat them, let's go. But I was nervous up until the very end. I told you, I was like, oh, we can't celebrate yet. It's not over yet. The game isn't over yet. And that's kind of how I had, like, I felt that the whole time. The game isn't over yet, so I can't celebrate. But I liked how we played, and our defense held them, and their defense really did well too. But it was a really defensive game. But I feel like we just had the better team.
Yeah, we did just enough early to get a lead, and at a time when I said that the defense can no way hold to, like, there's no way they can hold the 14 points or less in a second half, and they were able to hold them to 3 points. In the second half. And honestly, that was almost kind of a gimme because the Ravens were hoping to get the ball back a second time, but obviously MVS decided not to let that happen.
Yeah,
we praised him last game.
I know he must have listened.
Up.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he kept the video for inspiration.
Yep,
or
definitely
for hate inspiration.
Hate inspiration.
Whatever it is.
Lit a fire under his butt.
But the offense did, just enough. You could tell this week they kind of felt a little more like they did in the wild card game. They don't have to do too much if they just keep moving the ball a little bit, drain the clock, get a field goal, get whatever, maintain a 2-score lead. That they really didn't have to do much until the very end when they decided to put the game away with the deep shot. 2 minutes, and the Ravens had to cry out.
I know.
So, yeah, it felt like a back and forth affair, but when you look at it at the end, it tells the story what happened. The Ravens, who were a team that loved to run the ball, did it a fourth or a fifth the amount of times they do it in any other game in this game.
Yeah.
So it was like the defense was begging them to throw it, and they kept going for it, and wasn't working.
Yep, that's true.
The offense, towards the end, it started to look like the Ravens were stopping the runs, and then we were being diligent not to do anything or regret or do a negative play or trying to. There were a couple minus screen plays that were blown up immediately.
Yeah.
So, but to start that game, especially in the pregame stuff, right? The whole Travis and Patrick and
that was
Tucker.
Yeah.
So
that was funny.
The game started, and the defense was able to make the stop immediately, and then the offense immediately took it down and scored. And most of it was throwing it to Travis.
Yeah.
In a year where everyone's concerned that his levels are dropping, his production isn't quite there, he's not staying out there for long. All that being said, and then this game just blows that all out. Because, we'll get to the history that is being made with him. But, the Ravens knew that he was the person to stop, and they still couldn't do it.
Yep. And
they had, the perfect players to combat a player like Travis Kelce, and they still couldn't do it.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is so cool.
So that was fun to see. The offense was they were still struggling, but yet they had some confidence to them.
Yes.
That the whole team itself, the defense, would be enough to pick them up if they started to slack, but just don't make the one huge mistake. So all the things that we're afraid of going on and happening to this team, it ended up happening to the other teams that
Yeah.
she's played against because they were more disciplined and kept their cool and all the superlatives. So it was nerve-wracking because you wanted the lead to be more, or you expected the offense to continue to dominate. But when you remember that the energy kind of goes that way and it flows, that every time you thought the defense was going to get done on, they end up getting a lucky break or forcing a big play themselves.
Yeah.
Several times the defense made the play to be made to hold the score, give the ball back to the offense, whatever the case may be. So it was huge that the Chiefs have been able to stay on the positive side of turnovers and costly penalties and gut-wrenching mistakes.
Yeah, like mistakes that like you shouldn't be making at all. It's just like fluke mistakes after fluke mistakes.
There were bad moments. There was a touchdown taken off the board. Looked like a nothing. Chiefs got a couple like drive extensions because of penalties themselves. So it wasn't entirely perfect by any means. They did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
You would have said this is probably the hardest opponent throughout the entire playoffs. And they were able to get by and also hold their offense looking a little wounded, so to say.
Yeah.
So to shift completely to the defense for a minute. The defense, when you were watching it, you were a little nervous because each time they do a little something. Looked like they got it figured out. But they were forcing it to be a pass-happy game. And the Chiefs were daring Lamar to throw it over and over again. And they were. Instead of running it, which is the thing that they were known for and praised for all year.
Yeah.
And like basically shut them down productively. They'd get some first downs or they'd get just near the goal line, they get a big play, and then Baltimore shot themselves in the foot. About to score, you fumble it.
Yep.
You're about to score and you throw it into triple coverage because you're getting pressured for the 40th time in a row.
Yeah, like they couldn't expect that, and then
Spags was making Lamar flustered every single play.
That's awesome, yeah.
And there was those moments that looked scary because it was the running Lamar, Josh Allen type. Like, oh, he's just going to do whatever it took.
Yep.
But it all seems like they were priding on, no, we'll try to throw it to beat you. And, honestly, I think they dared him to run it a lot more times than he obviously did. And that hurt them.
Yep.
And if they had played that more aggressive style like they did, or like, say, the Bills did the week prior to that, perhaps that would have forced the offense to try to press a little more and try to score and
more, and like
maybe they would have done something to hurt their chances again.
Yeah. So, like tried too hard or whatever.
So the offense was fully letting the Chiefs defense dictate the pace of this game.
Yeah.
And I really can't recall a time where Baltimore truly had the ball for a long period.
Yeah.
If they were marching, they'd get there and then they'd mess up,
Mm-hmm.
turn it over.
Yep.
Finally have to punt because they didn't get quite close enough for a field goal or whatever situation.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that the defense kind of just broke how Baltimore played was kind of vindicating of what we've seen all season, but the little like lapses of it where it's kind of disappeared,
Mm-hmm.
and either the opponent shows out more than you'd expect them to, or the defense is allowing production out of players you wouldn't expect them to be
Yeah.
allowing it to.
Yep. There wasn't some surprises.
But it was really good to see the defense be commanding and say you're going to go the entire length of the field,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to get your way into the end zone.
Yeah.
You've got to force your way in, and we saw the result of what happened when the Ravens were trying to press that.
Yeah.
So what did you think of watching this defense perform?
It was cool. It was what we've seen all season from them because they have been like really good, but it was like so much more polished and so much more like in tune, I feel like. And they really got like they really shut, like you said, they shut him down like almost every play.
Yeah. There was those like scary moments where he starts running and you think he's going to get away, the ball's batted up and he catches it. Oh no, here we go. Because we've seen this happen before.
Yeah.
But it's a whole new thing. So the defense has been lights out in most cases, and every time there's been some doubt, there's no way they can hold them. There's no way they can only allow 7 points in a half.
Mm-hmm.
They can't, projecting into the Super Bowl. There's no way they can hold San Francisco to 20 points or whatever the case. And they're going to, take that as a challenge.
Yeah, they are.
We've seen those Spags shirts that are now getting passed around social media.
Yep.
Defense loves their coach, and I think even the offense and maybe even Andy Reid at this point is kind of leaning into the defensive team, persona they have.
Yeah.
Like leaning into that identity and saying we can flip the switch if we need to just start, killing fools. But if the defense is going to ball out the way they are and hold teams the way that they are, then there should be no reason for us to make boneheaded mistakes and put the defense in bad situations. The games the Chiefs lost this season were either games the offense didn't perform at the right time, and or they set the defense up in bad situations to, stack their odds against them to begin with.
Yeah.
Like putting the defense in situations where it's goal to go already. You're in the other team's red zone. They don't have to go very far to score on you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go out there without any preparation. So something like that. So to make the defense play lights out, they've got this certain game plan that they're following now. And it's not just necessarily run the ball nonstop.
Yeah, that's true.
If the pass is open, the pass is open. If
Mm-hmm.
we run it a bunch
Yeah,
of
we've
times,
seen, yeah.
the play action pass, a faking the run, and Travis gets wide open.
Yup.
Nobody's paying attention to him.
That one
Because
touchdown.
nobody thinks he blocks. So it's great because the offense has freedom and playing a semi-ball control, but if the team has a chance to go up and get a lead. And if it's a 2-score lead, especially, they're going to do it like assertively.
Yes.
And then just kind of sit on it. And they've got the like firepower on offense and defense to be able to justify that.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yep.
So, do you have any other defensive thoughts in terms of what they did?
Just that they need to keep doing it. Whatever they're doing is working, so keep it up.
What'd you like the most? The pressure,
I like the pressure and like when we force fumbles. That's fun. That's always fun.
R.I.P. Charles.
Well, yeah.
Shout out Derek Thomas. Hey, Super Bowl 58. We gonna need at least 2 strip sacks for the Chiefs to get some DT love.
Yeah.
There for the Super Bowl and for Charles. Last topic for this shortened podcast for today is we're going to go over the offensive performance, but more so the history that we're watching when it comes to Travis Kelce. So, as a player who hasn't been in the playoffs until 2015 and really not getting the shine until Patrick comes into the picture in 2018 or early 2019 by that point.
Yeah.
So he's had some history, but arguably you'd say 5 years. The 5 years that Mahomes and him had played together and got to the playoffs, and those are their playoff stats together, right? So the sheer numbers that Travis is putting up and the production that he's still able to put up, like we discussed this on our couch. Rob Gronkowski is the same age as Travis Kelce. And Gronk's been out of the sport for at least 2 years now.
Yeah.
And Travis is heard on video after winning the championship game saying, I got 11 more years in me.
Yeah.
So we were wooing about some slowing down concerns, but it's obvious where he was waiting to put
his effort.
And it's clear where subsequently the offense as well has decided to put in their effort.
Yeah, exactly.
They
were focusing on the playoffs.
They say that Christmas was the official game changing, we need to do something, and they just did it.
I'm sure, yeah, because that was an embarrassing game.
When we were concerned that this was it, they were saying, guys, this could be it if we don't make these adjustments and remember what goal we set out for.
Yep.
And from that game forward, they have been played the best football. Don't press too much. Play with intensity. Play with aggression.
Yeah.
Be the more dominant team and believe you're going to come out on top if you just maintain this discipline and organization.
Yep.
So
and you do what you need to do, and all the guys on the team come together, and it just works.
So this offense is almost reverted to what you think of as run only, but they're back and forth on when they do it. So they're doing them at the most opportune times.
Yeah.
We like them to run the ball a lot. And when the defenses are set up to stop the run, that's when we do the passes on them with our tight ends, because we love that matchup.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're using the certain wide receivers that we've been using instead of switching in several at a time to, get certain snap counts or whatever. Keeping the certain players on the field and just expecting them to produce. Rasheed produced. MVS has been producing.
Yeah.
Justin Watson in his limited stuff produces.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all we need. And that's
That's true.
truly what we've been saying all season. The concern has been if the mistakes and the turnovers and stuff like that keep coming, especially in bunches, that they're going to derail their chances to get to or within the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's still one more game to go. And I think if going into that game, you would feel good if the Chiefs had no turnovers and San Francisco had a couple. You would have thought the Chiefs, the outcome was good for the Chiefs.
Yeah. You would think, oh, they can win this game.
So it seems kind of nice that those like costly mistakes were happening in periods of the season that didn't matter.
True.
Because if it's not just before January, then everybody's out. And, next season have to do shows and it's just like hold up a sign. It's just like, wake me in January. Because nothing right now is relevant because they're going to somehow
revert.
They're going to
change.
Snap their fingers and all of a sudden they're going to be completely fixed. And they're going to be confused why we're assuming that things are going wrong.
Yeah, don't count us out.
So, I don't know. That's what's been hard to gauge this whole postseason. And every game that I've seen them win and there's been doubt about it, it feels that much better when they do pull it off.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
That same feeling is coming up in 2 Sundays from now, where they are again mentioned as the underdog. How the Chiefs don't have any good players on their team besides Patrick and Travis. So, shut out, make the whole defense feel slighted. I'm sure that's not going to go wrong for the other team.
Dang.
I don't got anything else. I think we pretty much exhausted the AFC Championship game to death.
I think so, yeah.
And I'm just ready to get into Super Bowl previews.
Yes, Super Bowl week. I'm so excited.
Anybody following our channel, I'm sure, can't wait to get into those as well. So stay tuned for all that. We'll probably have some announcements come out as that week is beginning or just before when we have some information that we can officially go live with and say stay tuned for this certain content. But it's going to be a fun, busy week for all of us, as I'm sure it is for all of you who are watching and listening to us right now. But been a heck of a ride so far. And again, said this every week after week, but I'm glad that it continues for at least one more. And we've got at least one more week of a game to talk about and hopefully be celebrating her out by the end of it.
Yeah.
So that's it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. Like I mentioned in the earlier segments, if you want to go check out some of that content that's already been released, feel free to do so and tease that we got a Chiefin podcast episode coming up after this and that week of Super Bowl preview content coming out as well. So hope you all enjoy that and hope you all have a great rest of your week and weekend. God bless you all. Go Chiefs!
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion. So please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom